Comics have changed the way we've seen countless stories be modified in many different forms. Everything changed when comics first emerged. Everything got more ambiguous and more hopeful because people needed hope during that time. People needed hope in the early 60s and 70s because the world was just insane, so they needed something to kind of escape that reality and kind of take a break from the boring world and go and have some fun adventures with characters they can recognize and relate to. So everyone can relate to characters, in fiction or otherwise. You can relate to Batman because he has no superpowers. You can relate to Spider-Man because he does mundane things like have to go pay rent, get a job, have to take the bus sometimes because he's out of web fluid. So yeah, that's something, I guess. Get really hyped, wanting to buy everything, when it supported 1,000%, wanted to put every day into it, and then you have people that don't see it that way. You have people that just kind of look at it and go, oh, look, a superhero movie. Whoop-de-freaking-do. And then you have others that you find people that are really excited as much as you are. So that's a positive. There's a lot of negative with comic books because people just don't see how cool they are. But honestly, they're not for everyone. But people need to understand how awesome comics are and how far we've come. In the 60s, this is when comics were relatively new. New characters coming out, and Stan Lee had created Spider-Man that nobody thought was going to sell. Nobody thought a character like Spider-Man was going to sell. And now he's one of the most popular characters ever that everybody knows. Even if you're not a comic book fan, you know who Spider-Man is. You know who Superman is. You know who Batman is. You know who Wonder Woman is. You know all these characters that you wouldn't have relatively known unless comics weren't created. Characters that took you out of reality and were like, hey, we're going to take you on this adventure. We're going to take you on an adventure to go, I don't know. Comics have just helped change everything about what we know about comic books. They have helped to give people jobs, give people a house, give people anything they wanted without having to realize the epitome of losing anything. I recently got into the show Invincible, and that show just blew my mind instantly about how crazy people can go with comic books and animation. I relatively like more animation comics rather than live action. Well, live action is cool and all, there are limits. There are limits to stuff you can do in live action compared to animation. So when I got into the show, I was like, oh, this is going to be your standard superhero show that's going to take all this crap and just going to go, we took it from the source material, so we did our homework at least. But no, it takes a step further. There's blood, there's death, there's so much violence that you can't even fathom what the heck you just witnessed. That's how crazy the show is. So many shows are like that. You got Spectacular Spider-Man, you got the X-Men, you got Batman, you got your Batman the Animated Series, you got Batman Brave and the Bold, which took stuff from the golden age of comics. That comics are weird. You gotta understand that comics are weird. So sometimes they have really heartfelt, great stories, and sometimes they have simple stories. Sometimes their stories are just weird. Like the time Luke Cage punched Dr. Doom for over $200. Yes, that was a thing. Look it up. But in all actuality, comics have changed me. Changed how I view the world, changed how I see myself. It changed how I really thought a person can be when they like comic books. I thought I would be looked at as weird, but honestly, I just feel part of a bigger community because of it. So, thank comics for letting me be who I am. Thank you.